I never imagined the quietest betrayal of my life would come wrapped in soft linen and lavender tea. When I moved in with my son Marcus and his wife Helena, it was meant to be temporary. That's what we all said, 6 months, maybe a year. Just until I found my rhythm again, as Helena so gently put it after Raymond passed. Raymond, 42 years married, 2 children, 1 golden retriever, and the same chipped garden bench we sat on every spring. When he died, I felt the silence of our house like a second death. So I accepted Marcus's offer. I let them pack my things, sell the house, transfer the funds. I wanted to believe it was kindness. The first days in their house were sweet in a way that made my heart ache. Helena brewed jasmine tea in the afternoons, laid out soft biscuits with lemon glaze. Marcus worked from home often and would pass through the kitchen with a quick kiss on my hair. They gave me the garden room, floor-to-ceiling windows, pale rugs, and a single ivory chair beside a reading lamp. Helena even brought in a knitted throw in a dusty rose shade. "So you feel at home," she said. And I tried to. I truly did. But little things began to shift. One evening I came down to find my old teacups replaced by a matching ceramic set. "We're trying to simplify," Helena said with a light laugh, motioning to the open shelving. My cups, Raymond's favorite chipped one included, were boxed and tucked into the attic without a word. Then came the discussion about routines. Could I avoid using the laundry machine between noon and 3? It disturbed Marcus during his meetings. Could I take my morning walks a bit later so I wouldn't be in the kitchen during their breakfast rush? Of course, I said. Always. They meant well, I told myself. But one Sunday I overheard Helena on the phone. I hadn't meant to listen. It was the way her voice turned low and sharp that stopped me outside the study door. "It's like having a ghost in the house," she said. "She never complains, but she's always around." Pause. Said. Yes, the money helped. Of course it did. But God, I didn't expect her to stay this long. I turned away quietly. From that moment, every kindness tasted of dust. I began collecting small silences. The look Marcus gave Helena when I sat too long at the breakfast table. The way Helena praised herself for managing 3 adults under one roof at dinner parties. My name disappearing from the holiday cards. Then came the storage conversation. Helena knocked gently one afternoon. "Margot," she said, using my full name, not Mom, not even Mum, "we're thinking of converting the garden room into a creative space. For my ceramics. Just something small." I stared at her for a long moment. "And where would I go?" She smiled too quickly. "There's a lovely senior apartment opening up just 5 blocks away. I looked it up. They even do Tai Chi. You'd have your own space again." I didn't answer. I turned back to my book. By then I'd already noticed how my mail was being redirected to Helena's inbox. My prescriptions accidentally delayed. The spare key I used to carry was replaced with a keypad lock. So I stayed polite. I washed my cup. I moved quietly. I began visiting the library more often. Sat on the same bench Raymond and I had once shared, feeding pigeons. Sometimes I just watched the sky change. One afternoon I returned to find my belongings boxed up in the hallway. Not everything, just enough to send a message. The dusty rose throw. My photo albums. A few of my scarves folded neatly into a labeled plastic bin. Marcus saw me pause. "Helena's organizing," he said. "Trying to clear the energy a bit. You know how she is." I nodded. Walked past. That night I took a long bath. Lavender salts. The scent reminded me of the sachets I used to tuck into our dresser drawers. I stayed in the water until it turned cold, and even then I didn't move. The next morning I went to the bank. I asked the teller for a full review of my accounts. I asked for copies of every authorization, every change. And I saw it. Helena's name, granted limited access to assist with financial tasks. A signature dated 2 months after Raymond's death. I don't remember signing it. But there it was. The manager was kind. "We can revoke this today, Mrs. Langley." "No problem." I signed. Carefully. Hurry. Then I took the bus home. When I got back, the keypad had been changed. I rang the bell. Helena answered. She looked surprised. Then tense. "I went to the bank," I said. "I've reversed the access." A long silence. Then she stepped aside. I walked in. Quietly. As always. That night I began making calls. Not angry ones. Careful ones. I asked about my pension. My health proxy. I called my late husband's solicitor. I updated documents. By the end of the week I had a plan. I didn't tell them. Instead I started packing. Slowly like falling leaves. Helena didn't ask questions. Marcus pretended not to notice. And when the day came I left. No goodbye. Just a note. I've gone to find my rhythm again. Thank you for the tea. I rented a small apartment near the park. Nothing fancy, just a clean studio with windows that opened wide enough for a breeze. The landlord's name was Carmine, and he offered to fix the loose tile in the bathroom without me asking. The first night I sat on the floor eating crackers and cheese from a paper plate. I watched the headlights glide across the ceiling and felt something close to peace. I bought a kettle. A blue one. And a set of mismatched teacups from a second-hand shop. I called my daughter Emily, who lived 3 states away. "Mom," she said startled. "Is everything okay?" "I'm all right," I said. "Just finding my way again." She hesitated. "Come stay with me. Please. The kids would love to see you." "Not yet," I said. "But thank you." We talked for an hour. I began walking the park trail each morning. I carried seed for the birds. I started sketching again. Badly. But it felt good to move the pencil. One day, a woman with silver hair and a green scarf sat beside me. She offered a sandwich half and asked if I lived nearby. "I do now," I said. Her name was Eileen. She had a laugh like dry leaves. We started meeting twice a week. We didn't ask too many questions. I grew basil on the windowsill. It wilted at first but then rallied. I found a part-time position at a tiny bookshop 2 streets over. Mostly shelving, dusting, chatting. The owner paid in cash and stories. One afternoon I walked past a cafe window and saw Helena. She didn't see me. She looked tired. Her hair was pulled back too tightly. Marcus sat across from her, scrolling through his phone. For a moment I felt nothing. Not anger. Not sorrow. Just stillness. I turned away. That evening I lit a candle and placed it beside Raymond's photo. "I'm all right," I whispered. And I was. On my birthday Emily surprised me. She arrived at my door with her 2 children, arms full of lilies and laughter. "We couldn't let you spend it alone," she said. We baked a cake together. The children drew pictures and taped them to my fridge. That night, Emily and I sat with our tea, wrapped in blankets, watching the moon climb over the city skyline. "You're stronger than I ever knew," she said. "I didn't know either," I said. "But I've learned." When they left 2 days later, the apartment felt different. Not empty. Just full of something quiet and warm. Eileen and I planned a weekend trip to the coast. Nothing fancy, just sand, wind, and long walks. I wore Raymond's old sweater. He brought thermoses of soup. We sat on driftwood watching the waves fold into themselves. "Do you ever regret it?" she asked. "Leaving?" I paused. "No. Not even once." She nodded. "Me neither." We didn't speak again for a while. The sea spoke for us. Sometimes I pass by a mirror and see someone I almost recognize. A version of me before the world softened my edges. Before I gave away too many pieces. Now I keep the best ones for myself. I sleep well. I eat slowly. I forgive but quietly and from afar. And every morning as I pour tea into a chipped blue cup, I remind myself. This life is mine. Entirely, gently mine.